If you are looking at buying property because you want to invest in an Airbnb or have a rental property, and you notice in your Schedule A on the deed that you're buying from that there is a covenant or a restriction which says no commercial usage, don't buy that property. Had an interesting one today where an individual bought a property that explicitly put in its covenants and restrictions that there is to be no commercial usage. Now, it does expressly say that residential and recreational usage are permitted. So, this person purchased this property with the plan of putting it on an Airbnb or Verbo or some kind of short term rental. Well, the actual property owners surrounding that property are all a part of an HOA that property is subject to. And the HOA owns the lake that this property is next to, meets up to. So the owner who bought this property, invested in this property with the idea that they were going to make short term rental money, is now staring at a legal battle against the HOA that is telling her absolutely not. You do not have the right to use this as a commercial rental. And even though the word guests is used, just because it's listed on an Airbnb or a VRBO, the courts in New York have consistently and routinely upheld that using a short term rental is indeed commercial usage and is expressly prohibited by no commercial usage prohibitions in the deed. So, in this matter, it's going to be interesting to see how the HOA proceeds to try to remove this person's ability to actually continue renting this. Um, but it was a very interesting conversation to have with someone to say, why did you buy this in the first place if you already saw on the deed it expressly said you couldn't have a commercial interest? And their answer was, well, I thought Airbnb was residential or Verbo was residential because I have guests, not clients. And that is a misnomer. You may be a hotel guest, but you are effectively a client. And if you are exchanging money for services, or in that case, literally money for services, you're renting out the property, that is a commercial venture. So be aware if you are buying property with the express commercial purpose of putting it on Airbnb, absolutely make sure that it does not have a no commercial activity clause in the prohibition inside the deed when you're buying.